Hi everybody, my name is Michelle and today we're going to have a fantastic video. This is the foundation of how to get wealthy. Not how to get wealthy, but what to do with the money when you actually get it by whatever means or source that you choose to get it. I'm not going into the details of that. Today we're going to compare how people who are on a budget, mostly people who are wealth building or aspiring to be wealthy, compared to the approaches of people who are already wealthy. Okay, so we're going to look at 5 differences and 5 reasons why it's important to look at household management as an important and key aspect of your approach to how to get rich or how to build wealth. Not even building wealth, but to actually get past building it and actually enjoying it, maintaining it, and going for the goal. Okay, so we're going to get into it now. Okay, so it's really exciting. I'm gonna look at my notes sometimes, so don't even be deterred or disdain. My name is Michelle. If you don't know me, welcome to the channel. To all my subscribers and followers, if you're new to the channel, just click the like button if it really interests you and you're happy about it, or just subscribe so you'll know when new information is coming through. The number one reason is, or the number one approach that is different between people who budget and people who are wealth building and people who are already wealthy, is the routines that they use. Now I can relate to that because my routine, I'm just actually getting into the full aspects of a routine around a budgeted lifestyle and trying to build wealth. Yes, I've had some experiences before, but I have to compare it to where I want to go in order to know what the difference is between where I am and where I'm going, so I can strategically position myself to be able to manage, maintain, and actually grow from my experience. So I'm looking at my notes. The routines are, in terms of goals and priorities, the routine for the people who are on a budget or their wealth building is more unpredictable. So there's less approaches to scheduling. So there's the strategic approach that they use is not necessarily, some of them actually have like a productivity manual, or they actually know how the operations of the household are, what are the tasks that they need to allocate to whosoever needs to get things done, how it gets done, what are the costs, and so on. However, the wealthy tend to have a more patterned, structured approach to how they do their scheduling and their routines. And not only that, the wealthy tend to actually focus on freeing up their time in order to build more wealth or grow their wealth in order to care for themselves, increase productivity, increase creativity, while people who are on a budget or their wealth building, some of them, not all, don't come at me, what they focus on is more maintenance of the lifestyle and actually trying to figure out what are the pattern movements or specifications around the routine. Number 2, the structure is different. So there's less streamlining of expenses relating to people on a budget or those who are wealth building. So the expenses are not necessarily, when I say streamlined, it's not specific, it's not regular, it's not regular, it's not tailored, it's not predictable, it is less predictable, and if it's predictable from a budgeted standpoint. And also the rich tend to invest in high amounts of technology in order to free up their manual time, in order to be able to look at those patterns around the structures that they have created, and in order to look at where is it that we can actually either lower our costs, create the avenues for investment opportunities, or create the avenues for actually development, or create the avenues for wealth accumulation, or just enjoyment of life on a standard level in terms of balance, work and family. The next thing is that the third point is that they tend to, sorry about saying but it happens sometimes. Third thing is that delegation of duties is completely different. when people are on a budget or they're building wealth, they tend to try to do it all themselves. And I've done a video before about that, about some people taking on all the core activities of the household. So they delegate the activities within the structure of how the family operates. So they'll look at the children, they'll look at who lives in the house, they'll say, okay, you should do this, you should do that. And that's not really a bad thing, depending on what your approach to wealth is and what is wealth to you, because there are variations. But we're looking at actual wealth from a viewpoint of like income, earnings, in terms of investment opportunities, in terms of approach to life and balance and so on. So what people on a budget tend to do but you can have high income earners and ultra high income earners, or the ultra wealthy actually on a budget. But the difference is that they don't necessarily allocate activities to the family members as much, if any at all, to within the household. What they tend to do is that they outsource the activities, because one, they're developing a mindset within the household that manual labor should be reduced. And in some cases, the children should aspire to make sure that other people do the manual labor, or they invest in different forms of technology, and they create a more predictable, analyzed approach to even the development of their children, just based on how they actually approach their routines and structure as it pertains to household management. Number 4, the time management activities are completely different. As I mentioned previously, time management, time is freed up for creative endeavors, self-care. They're looking at, how can I free up my time to be able to focus more on wealth? How can I free up my time in order to focus more on family, work, and balance? How can I free up my time? How is it that time is of the incremental essence to be able to gain more wealth? While people on a budget are looking at time management from the viewpoint of whatever happens sometimes unpredictably, we'll have to deal with it with good reason as well, within the constraints of what becomes available to us, or what is available to us based on what our earnings are. So their time management is less focused also on self, because the activities are more focused on how the household can routinely operate around the manual labor endeavors, meaning the work must be done by the people in the household rather than, more focus on self-care and development. So the routine, there's more repetition control within repetition and control within a budgeted standpoint, whilst the wealthy tend to try and free up time so that there will be more incorporation of unpredictable experiences, endeavors, and adventures if necessary. So number 5 is that the budgets tend to be completely different. So the budgets would be more frugal for people who are obviously on a budget, from the viewpoint of being not necessarily high income earners, or let us look at not even high income earners, but let us look at it from the viewpoint of saying, okay, these are the ultra or super luxury buyers and the ultra rich. Okay, so it's more less budgeted, because they outsource their activities to professionals. They're looking at, okay, how can I create more cost solutions? I free up my time, I get somebody else to do the work, I can pay them, and then I can get the opportunity to make more money, because I'm the source of the money. The people in the household are the source of the money, and we can grow the wealth from that perspective. But if our endeavors are focused on the physical and manual labor activities and the unpredictable elements, without actually having those unpredictable elements being an investment into growing self-development, self-care, and other aspects of what wealth really incorporates. Therefore, what we need to do is actually live the lifestyle of less labor focused, less labor intensive, and actually create an environment that is actually wealthy. While the budgeted household would be more inclined to say, okay, do you know what? I don't have time for myself. I don't have time for self-care. How am I may do some things like going to university, getting a job, which is not a bad thing. We'll have discussions around that in the future. But you know, less investment into their creative endeavors, and focus on self, and focus on moving beyond the status quo of the average person and how the average household operates. Now, I need to say this again. My name is Michelle, and I'm very excited to be here. I'm Michelle, and I look at the comparison between how households operate, or how income earners operate, from the viewpoint of how the wealthy operate, and how budgeted and also high income earners who are actually building wealth would operate. And this allows us to look at the gaps in between, because it allows the opportunity to identify in those gaps elements of productivity, elements of opportunities, elements of how is it possible that one or a household can actually make more money. So when I'm talking about household management within the structure of wealth accumulation, maintenance, and growth, that is because it is so important, because the money can come on some levels depending on the type of person you are. We can go in all the variables and the specifications, but the most important thing is, what do you do with the money when it comes, and how do you actually make more money, grow your money, and create a balanced lifestyle, or a lifestyle that, even if it does not include the balance that is standard to others, that it incorporates a more fulfilling experience in the reality that we're in. So just enjoy your day, and we're gonna go on to the next topic, and it is gonna be so exciting moving forward. So I look forward to actually seeing you, and you watching the channel. Subscribe to the channel, follow if you like it, just comment, no problem. If you wanna ask me a question, no problem as well. Have a fantastic day, and take good care of yourselves.